I don't even know what event it was, Kyle.
It was Anime NYC 2019.
Yeah, okay, so 2 years ago, you bought these posters,
Yep.
and then you left them in James's trunk, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and then
Oh.
he's been trying to give you these posters for 2 years. So finally,
It's
he
true.
he comes over to my house. So this is like over a month ago, and he, of course, thinking, oh, Kyle and Glenn, they get along, they see each other, whatever. I'll just give him this poster, and then Glenn will be able to give it to Kyle. Meanwhile, I haven't seen you in like a year. So now I have these posters sitting here. I'm looking at this Kirby Warp Star Driving poster where like Kirby has a burger and DDD has like a hot
Yeah, I
dog.
looked
And
it
like,
up. This is a cool poster.
It is a cool poster. That's why I bought it.
Yeah,
just
if
like,
only you
dude.
could have it. If only you could have it in person.
Yeah. It's
Hold
wild.
on a sec. There's more posters in that thing. Hold on. We're gonna take a look at this.
This reminds me. This is basically what happened with Hungry. He left ice cream at my house because he bought it on the way in, or like on the way to my place, and he left it in my freezer. And like we didn't see each other. And every time I did see him, I forgot to give it to him. But I brought it to Glenn's place. Cause I'm like, oh, Danny will be there. I'll just give it to Danny, and then Danny can give it to Hungry.
All right. So in addition to the Warp Star Diner poster, there's a Persona 5 poster here that has Joker and a bunch of Persona characters that I don't know. All right. Then there's another poster. Of course. There's a Sonic poster.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a Sonic poster here. And there's another Persona poster. And, there's a Zelda poster in here? What the hell? You bought a Zelda poster? Oh, it's like, this is cool.
I bought a Zelda
It's like,
poster.
yeah, it's Link and Zelda in like modern day designs. Like Link has like a hoodie on, and Zelda's wearing like a
those
pink
are cool.
jacket, and they look like they're like modern
Oh,
characters.
it's like The Legend of Riverdale or some crap like
Link
that.
has like dunks on with
Oh, let me look
Triforces
this
on
up.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
So let me see if I can like recall what happened that day. It was a Saturday in November, almost 2 years ago, and I decided last second to go to an anime convention at the Javits Center. A big deal because I don't go to many conventions very often, and I met up with James and Zone, aka Mezzy, aka Zone. If you might know him from Smash, we hung out all day, and I think if I remember correctly, because I don't like Persona that much. So I think what happened was I went to a couple of spots where, like, if I bought X amount of posters, I got another one for free. So I think one of those had to have been if I bought 2 posters, I got a third one for free. And I didn't recognize any of the other source material that was there. So I'm just like, oh, yeah, this guy's in Super Smash Brothers. Let me buy a Persona poster.
Oh, my God.
And yeah, that's about as much as I remember from that convention. I remember buying a wall scroll that weekend. I bought a lot of stuff knowing that I was going to have to take a bus home, and I messed up. That was a mistake that I made. So the moral of the story is, friends, don't buy stationery at a convention when you don't have a car to keep it in, because otherwise it's the sisterhood of the traveling posters.
Yeah. I'll give James some credit. He kept these posters. They're like in pristine condition. Like, I didn't know that these posters were just like looking for a home for 2 years. They look fine. They don't look like these nomad posters. But you owe James a great service for that.
I owe James nothing and nothing at all, but you're right. I do owe him a great deal of gratitude for that. Actually, it's funny because as I have a terrible habit of buying posters and forgetting to hang them on my walls because I'm just an awful human being.
You'll say.
And I remember I bought a set of posters at a convention that I went to, and my strategy for keeping my posters in pristine condition, and I don't know if this is just like a Spanish kid thing or whatever, but like whenever I needed poster board for a project in school, we always kept it under our beds because it's the only place where it would keep like flat all the time. So I just kept like a crap ton of stationery just like under my mattress whenever we needed to do school projects. So I would just like put posters there. And then I didn't realize that like the box spring under my bed was like falling apart. Like my mattress had like a hole in it. So every time I'd like get in and out of bed, like the springs would like scratch up my posters. And I eventually, when I went to go hang these posters up, they were just like torn to shreds. And I was devastated because that's like $25 I'm not getting back. And I was like, dang, like I need to like take better care of my posters. And lo and behold, I'm a terrible father. So
Dude, I've never I've never heard of somebody having a problem buying too many posters. Like of all the buying habits, of all things in the world that you could, indulge in and buy too many of, I've never met anyone who was like, my problem is I always buy too many posters. And my life is just a bunch of posters that I never hang up.
Dude, that was me freshman year in college because they had like a fair where you could buy posters.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it wasn't freshman year. It was sophomore year. Because sophomore year, I had a dorm to myself, like a very small dorm. So I just kind of went to the poster fair, and I'm just like, oh, look at all these cool things I like, and now they're on a poster. Like I just finished watching Legend of Korra with my friends, so I got a Legend of Korra poster. I was really into Breath of the Wild, and they didn't have a Breath of the Wild poster, but they had an Ocarina of Time poster. I'm like, this is close enough. I'm gonna buy that. I bought like a motivational cat poster. I bought like the poster, like the wave, like that Japanese drawing of like a big wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a poster of that. And I'm just walking out of this place with like 5 posters. And it's like, oh no.
Oh man. Yeah. So let's get into the show. Welcome everybody to the Glentendo podcast. I'm Glentendo. This was a weekly podcast that came out every Thursday for supporters on Patreon and then went free to all the following Sunday. But obviously, if you haven't been keeping up, this is the second to last episode of this show. Next episode, next week, will be the final episode. And to this week, we have a lot to talk about. We're talking about the GTA Trilogy. The Grand Theft Auto Trilogy just came out on Switch and a bunch of other platforms. We're going to talk about some Sonic stuff. Of course, Kyle's here. We have to feed the monster. He wouldn't be on the show if Sonic wasn't somehow related to this episode. We're going to talk about Pikmin. We're going to talk about Metroid. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. So, of course, you've already heard their lovely voices. Mr. Kyle Rios, a.k.a. Mr. Koopa, Mr. Cooped Up Podcast, Mr. Esports Commentator. Koopa, how are you? How are your posters? How's everything?
My posters haven't seen me in 2 years, and I doubt they know what I look like anymore. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I have endured a much busier October and end of November, and beginning of November than I would have ever hoped for. I've been very, very fortunate, to have been getting a lot of work in esports over the past month and whatnot, but at the cost of literally all of my free time and everything else going on around me. So it has been a very busy month, but I'm looking forward to some downtime, enjoying the holidays at home and talking about video games, doing all that fun stuff that I love to do. So thanks again for having me back once again.
Sexy, amazing. And of course, Mr. Air Gordon, AJ, is sitting nicely and comfortably, coming to you straight from his brand new apartment that is next to a light rail station. So if you heard that little bell just now, that's the train that's the passing by.
Stand clear of the ending podcast, please.
Yeah, dude, it's funny that Kyle mentions he's been busy because I also have been extremely busy for like the past 3 weeks, just like moving in, like going out and buying stuff that I need to move in. And now that we're here, like there's still stuff. Sometimes you have to buy stuff. We go unpacking. We like there's some problems, so we have to get like people to come up and check like our heating or whatever.
Of course,
it's just been a mess. But we're getting close to the end. Like we're running down the list of things that can break, and it's getting smaller and smaller. So it should be good. Also, my car,
as you can think of,
my car also was in the shop for like a week. So
oof.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Yeah, man. I'm going through it now too with the whole moving situation. It sucks. But anyway, games are keeping me alive right now, keeping me sane. What have you guys been playing, Kyle? You could start. I don't know what you've been able to play in your game life with like all the busy stuff you've been doing, because like legit, I've seen everyone in our friend group at least 6 times since the last time I've seen you. Like, you are just a myth at this point. Like, he never existed, and this is like a plot twist at the end of a movie where it was like, oh, he was all in our heads the whole time. Kyle's never been real.
On the M. Night Shyamalan plot twist.
Yeah.
You've always wanted. I've just been playing a lot of the same stuff. I've been making my way, playing through Nickelodeon All-Stars Brawl, as I have been. the latest and greatest in platform fighting. I unfortunately bought both versions of the game, but the PC version is still up to date with all the fun stuff. So that game's still a lot of fun. I'm also dangerously close to beating Breath of the Wild. Finally,
Oh, I saw you tweet about
Yo, that's
that.
hype.
Yeah.
yeah. So I have conquered my final divine beast. I am now cleaning up, a few loose ends before I go. Take on Ganon himself, and I'm just kind of taking a victory lap and going around Hyrule. It took me, I think, like 20 hours into the game to actually unlock the entirety of the map because I'm an idiot. But yeah, listen, I'm very as much as I've enjoyed this game, I'm looking forward to two things. Number one, I'm looking forward to not have to stream it whenever I play it because I feel like that definitely kind of took away from my enjoyment of the game because I can't like really sink my teeth into the game and kind of like explore every nook and cranny that I want to because I truly have enjoyed the game, but because I'm streaming it for an audience, I don't want to like play too far ahead and
Yeah.
play myself out of
Gotcha.
a game. So I'm looking forward to beating it and then being able to kind of like chew on it and like take my time with it in my own personal time, and also so I can stream another game because streaming this game was a choice. And I
Yeah.
think by the time I finish it, the Pokemon remakes will be ready to come out, so I'll be looking forward to like playing those in short stints.
Dude, so one of the show supporters and a good friend of mine, Marina, we were just talking about this, how like I feel so old compared to everybody because I really don't get the whole thing of like streaming games. Like, I'm not making fun of anybody who's into that stuff, but like me watching someone play a game, I can't imagine actually sitting there and watching someone play an entire game. Me personally, I can't. Especially a game like Zelda where I'm like, oh, like go over there or do that. And you're just like watching someone play the game. Like, I completely relate to what you're saying. Like, first of all, I wouldn't want to watch it, but those games are so like it's an intimate like for me it's more of an intimate like one-on-one thing, and I would just want to like I feel like streaming it for the audience, it makes it like people are watching you and it's a little different. It's not you're not playing at your own pace and whatever. Like, if anything, streaming a fighting game makes a little more sense to me. Like, I could imagine watching someone be really good at that and like bodying a bunch of viewers or whatever. But like playing a game like Zelda streaming, I don't know. I feel like an old man just saying that because this whole like Twitch thing, I'm just not super big on that.
Yeah, I think for me, it would be a different situation if I had played the game once already. I don't like watching people play games blind. As someone that's currently playing a game blind, I can understand why that wouldn't be fun for viewers because it's literally me just wandering around, climbing every tall rock that I find and finding Korok seeds.
It's like,
that
hey, I
haven't been
found a
able to
stick.
use. Yeah. Literally, I have like 45 Korok seeds, and I haven't gone to find the guy to like upgrade my inventory. So I've been
Yeah.
riding the struggle bus for the entirety of this playthrough. But I think the way that I look at it, I definitely feel that I'm at the point now in my personal life where like, most of the games I want to play are like, career based. I don't have a whole lot of free time, to just kind of like casually play games, which kind of sucks. It's kind of a sign of getting older, but I think it's one of those things where, I will learn better to, if there's a game that I want to play for stream, I'll play it on my own time first. So I at least know what I'm doing, which is why I'm
Right.
not like afraid to stream a Diamond and Pearl remakes because I've played those games literally in my sleep. So I'm not
Yeah.
super worried about like getting lost and like, what my progression point should be. It's all pretty cut and dry at that point. But that being said, Breath of the Wild has been a masterpiece, and I can't wait to like, actually, once I'm done with it, to like, go through all the DLC on my own time and do all that jazz. So
I'm going to go on
I'm
record.
looking forward to it.
I'm going to go on record. Kyle, I'm actually proud of you for finishing this game. You're
Wow.
not done yet, but I know
Wow.
you will finish it. But Kyle finishing Breath of the Wild, that's like if you've been listening to the show, that's been like a subplot. This whole show.
It's been
like,
the B plot for months.
It's been the B plot of like, will Kyle ever finish this game? Like, that's been a thing this whole time. So you need to finish this game. Now you have to do it because now I've already told you I'm proud of you. Don't make me regret this, dude.
Yeah, edit. Can you edit in the outro music here so we can just like end the show? Like,
yeah,
that's all
just
I needed
bump,
to get me through
bump.
the episode. Yeah, bump. It's funny how like the first like arc of this show is Hungry playing Bayonetta and what was the other game he was playing? Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just playing those games for like months, and now it's just me playing Breath of the Wild like continuously for like forever.
the futuristic Nintendo podcast that's all about playing a game that came out 5 years ago. But yeah, so AJ, how do you feel? What have you been playing besides freaking
Um,
melty blood? I just
all
gotta
right.
say that I just gotta say the name of that game. I know it's a fighting game, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I literally just the name of that game makes me laugh. I don't even know what the game looks like. I've never even seen it, so it's just the name of a game being Melty Blood is hilarious. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird name, and fighting games kind of have that. But all right, so what I've been playing. So once I got settled in and I finally had some free time, I realized I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finally pick up Bravely Default 2 again, and I
Oh, the
played
other
the
subplot,
yeah.
AJ and Bravely Default 2.
Will I ever pick this game back up? And I did. I played it for like 4 hours. I had a good time. I did like I got to like the next basically when I ended, I got to the next town and they gave me like kind of the basically like what the plot of this like the next chapter was going to be, and then I just stopped playing. So when I picked it up, I went to town, talked to like some people, got the next objective, and then did some side quests. And yeah, I I'm still having fun with the game. It's not as good as the 3DS game from so far still, which is a bit disappointing because it's the first Bravely Default game. It's literally my second favorite game behind Kid Icarus Uprising. But I'm still enjoying it.
Wait, so this one is a Switch game?
Yes.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought that was still a 3DS game. I thought they were both on 3DS, but okay, I get it now. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
um, So yeah, you've been playing that, dude. It's crazy because like I've been playing more games now than like ever. Like I think I told you guys I plugged in my Wii U because we were gonna have a fest, and out of morbid curiosity, I wanted to look at Smash
Oh
Four
God.
again. So like Riz was here, AJ was here, like a few other people came through, and we were just messing around with Smash Four on the Wii U, and then that turned into, oh, I could buy all these old Game Boy Advance games. So I just been playing Advance Wars. Again, that game got delayed. So thank God I've been playing it on the Wii U for $8. Um,
Yeah.
and I've been playing Super Mario Party Superstars, which, by the way, this has to be the best Mario Party. This is
It's
really,
really
really
good.
good. It's really, really good,
Wow.
man. Yeah,
See,
it's weird because I like Super Mario Party a lot, and most people that love this game, it's almost like they love it because they hated Super Mario Party so much. I like both of them a lot, and I think these are the two best Mario parties for me personally.
yeah. See, I've been on the fence about buying Mario Party Superstars. That's what the new one's called, right? I keep like
Yeah,
these names. These names got me
Dude,
all
I
fucked
I
know
up.
this
lit-
is
when
getting
I
bad. This is getting bad with the names.
yeah when I went to Target to buy it, I asked like, could I have Super Mario Party All Stars Battle Royale, whatever.
Yeah, 99 Deluxe
Yeah,
U.
because I'm like, wait, what's the actual subtitle of this game? Because I've always just called it, oh, the new Mario Party.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I've been on the fence of getting it because like I'm also one of those people. I enjoyed Super Mario Party. It just left me with basketballs of a certain color because I just wanted
yeah,
more. Like the game felt super short and I just felt like it was a missed opportunity for them to not give DLC to that game. And again, them doing it like months later. Like I even said on the podcast, it kind of made me feel a type of way. Like I felt like I was being cheated. And then, they expect me to like buy this $60 new game. But you're someone whose opinion of Mario Party I hold in a very high regard. You and James. I hold your, Mario Party has kind of ingrained itself into the culture of like a lot of our friends.
yeah.
And so like hearing that like a lot of the people whose opinion on these games I trust are saying how great the game is, that really makes me feel like more inclined to buy it because I've definitely been a little on the fence, but I think I'm closer to being sold than I was not.
Yeah, the one thing is the weird thing about this game though is that it's so funny because you know how the biggest complaint about the last one was that it only had like 4 maps? This game has like 5 maps,
Yes.
and it's just really weird because I'm like, is there something about these maps? Like what I always thought was Super Mario Party had less maps because maybe maps are harder to design than we think, right? Maybe it's just it's harder to do and whatever. They only had the energy to make 4 of them. But with this game, they were just remaking old maps that were already in other games, and they still only gave us 5. So I'm like, what is this thing about like giving us 5 maps? Like I kind of just wish that there was more to it. Like, you know, it's weird because this game is kind of like a it's like a Mario Party Deluxe, like or a Mario Party Ultimate in a way, where it's like here's all the old stuff, but in one game, and we brought everything back. We brought all these mini games back, but then you have only 5 maps, and so I'm really enjoying it still, even though I think there should be more maps, and I kind of hope that there's some DLC, even though they didn't do it for Super Mario Party. Like, how cool would it be if they just added, like, okay, Diddy Kong is not in the game. That's another topic for another day. I don't know why he's not in this game. He was in the last one. It makes no sense. Diddy Kong's not here. So how about we just have like a DLC pack where you pay $10, you get Diddy Kong, and you get a Donkey Kong themed level with new items and new mini games. Like, it seems like the biggest no-brainer like money-making machine of all time is Mario Party, a great Mario Party with really good DLC. But I don't know. Outside of that, it's I still think it's really really good, and I've been finding myself like playing the game even by myself, honestly. Like I've just been like, "Oh, okay, I'll just play a couple mini game maps on handheld mode," and like for me, having Mario Party Portable, I never bought the DS ones. And Super Mario Party, and you need the motion controls to play the game. So it never really worked as a handheld game for me until now. So I don't know. I've been really enjoying it.
Dude, it's like, Glenn, we were at a local yesterday for Smash, and you wanted to play Mario Party.
Yeah,
And we're like, no, we're gonna eat soon. This is like, it's gonna take like an hour.
dude,
You can't play
it's
Mario Party
so
now.
fun. It's so fun. I really like it, man. And like, it's a weird thing because it's one of the rare moments where giving the fans exactly what they wanted was the right thing to do. Because this is really what people just been asking for forever. Is like, why can't you just take the old ones that we already loved and mash them together? And that's it. And usually fans think they know what they want, but like when they finally get it, it doesn't actually work out. But this is an example where the fans were 100% right. Like this is the best one. AJ, did you buy this game actually? I don't know if you actually
Yeah,
did.
I did. So after you came over and we played a game of Mario Party, which Glenn did not let me execute my big brain
Oh,
plan
I
in order
messed
to
up.
win,
I
and
fumbled
then
the bag.
Riz ended up winning.
Yeah, I fumbled every
I'm just gonna
bag.
put that out there. But after that, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm sold on this. I'm gonna buy. I bought a physical copy just because I'm at the apartment and with Hungry, and if like for some reason I'm using my Switch and someone is here and wants to play Mario Party, they could just take the cartridge out and put it in Hungry Switch or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I did buy it, and I'm super excited to hopefully have more people over and play more Mario Party. It's a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
man. Also,
And
it's cool. They added some like the quality of life stuff. Like I was playing in the middle of a game, and the game somebody got disconnected, and they were able to just jump back in, and we didn't have to start the whole game over. Like little
Oh,
things like
nice.
that. Yeah, like you can save a game and continue it later. And the online has been working out really well. Like I haven't had a horrible time playing this game online. Like honestly, I don't have anything bad to say about it other than the fact that I wish there was more content. Like I just wish there was more characters and more maps. But outside of Mario Party, I just last night finished Metroid Dread 100% on hard mode. And
Damn.
that game was awesome, man. The first time I played it, it went by so fast because that game's only like 8 hours long. Like Metroid games are never that long. The 2D ones. So I replayed it and I'm like, oh wow, like now I really like this game. And like it, just playing it a second time, I got everything, and you're good at the game and you could parry everything, and I collected everything. Unlike AJ, I was not satisfied just leaving my save file at 69% completion. I asked him like, yeah, I
You
think I
love to
asked
see
you
it.
yesterday, right? I was like, dude, did you ever 100% the game? And you're like, nope. And I'm like, he just left it at 69. Like I thought he was gonna go back to it.
yeah, dude, every time you ask me if I finished it, I'm like, nope, left it at 69. I can't just say no, I didn't. I have to
the,
mention that I did get
the
69%.
actual high score. One thing I'll say that annoys me about completing that game though is that there's a cool like art gallery that you can like unlock like cool art for completing the game, and you get certain art for like 100%ing the game. And I figured, oh, I 100%ed it on hard mode, I should have all the art unlocked. But there are different pieces of art that you only get for completing it like under a certain amount of time. Like, oh, if you beat it in under 4 hours, you get this art and this art. And then if you beat it in under 4 hours in hard mode, you get this art and this art. but you would have to do it twice. You can't just beat it in hard mode in under 4 hours to get all of it. So I'm like, I hate when games do that, man. Like, I just want to be able to 100% this game and walk away from it. But now I'm like, all right, I technically didn't unlock all the art, whatever. But yeah, speaking of Metroid's a big success. We actually just today got a bunch of numbers finally. And again, like, I don't want to obsess about numbers and pontification and all that stuff. Like, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because it's a cool, interesting success story for a franchise to be gone for so long. And 2D Metroid, I think, has been gone for like 20 years and then come back and it's bigger than ever. So it was the third best selling game of October of the month. And it was the number one best selling game on the Switch for the month, third best selling overall, including like other platforms. It sold 854,000 copies so far, and that does not include digital sales. So I'm just going to assume it broke a million because there's no way that like less than 150,000 people downloaded it. Like I got it digitally. Everyone I know, almost everyone I know, got it digitally. So I assume it broke a million, and it's the best debut for a Metroid game. Before this, Metroid Prime was the biggest debut with like 450,000 in its first month, and it doubled that basically. So Metroid's in a good spot, and none of those units I just mentioned, none of them belong to Kyle Rios. He did not buy this game. He did not support it in any way, shape, or form.
I hate sci-fi. I don't know what to say.
You're not even a little curious about this game? Not even a little?
No, I am. I definitely am. It's just that like there's so much coming out at once this month. Like between all of the mediums that I like, I'm just drowning in content.
I feel you.
As much as I want to like partake in Metroid, like I do plan on getting to it eventually. I'm sure with a relative's Christmas gift this Christmas, I'm sure I'll get a gift card or something to some website or store that I can buy it on. And I'll definitely get to it. But like between Pokemon and other stuff coming out between now and the end of the year that like really catches more of my lane that I drive in, I've got to focus my attentions on that. But I'll get there eventually. I'm only ghosting her for right now.
Yeah, we definitely went over that. AJ, did you buy it digitally, by the way, or physical?
Yeah, I bought this one digitally.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm like super happy to just hear finally like, because this past few weeks I've been a little annoyed because usually if a game's like such an overwhelming success, like you'll hear about it like a week later. Like Nintendo will be like, "Oh, we sold 10 million copies of Animal Crossing," but they didn't say anything. So I was like, "Oh, is Metroid like maybe just not selling good, and I have to be sweating about whether this game series is ever going to come back?" You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand what you mean, and it's still like I mentioned this on the podcast before, but it's such a very interesting success story that Metroid Dread just kind of caught on with like a more with more people compared to the older Metroid game.
Yeah,
Just
apparently no entry in the series has ever sold over 3 million copies, which if just to put that in perspective, like the worst selling Zelda game sold like 3.5 million copies. So like it's kind of insane to think about how small Metroid is, even though it's such a famous series. Like everyone's heard the term Metroidvania. There's a million games inspired by it, yet it's always been pretty small. I thought Prime was actually going to be like this. I thought it was huge, but then I looked at the numbers. I'm like, damn, that game didn't. It sold well. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't this overwhelming thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, I think it's just like in general, Samus in terms of like reaching like a casual audience, just never had that. Like obviously, it's a critically acclaimed series. Like if you're into gaming like a lot, you know who Samus is and like what her games are like you said. And obviously, a lot of people are passionate about it because it's inspired an entire genre of like indie developers to make their own games like it. But in terms of like if you go up to like you're like maybe a family member who doesn't really game that much, and you ask them who Mario is or Pikachu, you're like, yeah, I know who Mario is. But you ask them Samus, they're probably not gonna be like, I don't know, like who is Samus? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think especially in like when Metroid was still when they're still making a lot of games, like the three pillars for Nintendo games were like Mario, Zelda, and Metroid in terms of like the fan base.
Yeah.
But in terms of like sales, it's like it was usually just Mario and Zelda.
And
Like,
Pokemon,
Metroid
yeah.
was like always respectable, but it's never like, but it wasn't like super niche. Yeah, and Pokemon too. Obviously, that's amazing.
It's like
sales.
the critical darlings, like it's like your game designer's favorite game. You know what I mean? like your game's favorite, your gamer's favorite game, but not necessarily everybody else's. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's funny too because like when I think about it, like Samus is in every Smash game, and it's funny how many like characters and series their most successful game that they're in is Smash Brothers and not the actual game that they're from. Like outside of, I think it's like maybe Mario, like not even Zelda, honestly. Like Zelda, there's no Zelda game that has sold more than Smash Ultimate. So it's like Mario, Pikachu, and like Sonic maybe are the only ones who are like, oh yeah, like we're bigger than Smash Brothers. We're guesting in Smash Brothers, whereas everyone else is starring in Smash Brothers. Yeah. But all right. So outside of Metroid, I 100%ed that. Finally done with that. Have you guys been following my Twitter? I've been posting all these Pikmin Bloom
Unfortunately.
pictures.
Damn. Damn.
But have
And
you
have to
guys
do
been
it to him, Kyle.
seeing these pictures I've been posting playing
I
Pikmin
have
Bloom?
been. I have been. They've been very
Dude,
funny.
I've been playing this game a lot. It's on iOS and Android. Um, and I'm like, I'm not even sure why I like this game, dude. I've been playing it like every day, and it's just a walking game. It's like everything you do is walking based. You grow Pikmin by walking. You find things around your town, and it's been really fun. And I don't know if it's actually good or if I just love Pikmin so much that I'm into this game. Like I can't tell the difference. Have you guys tried this game? Either of you? Kyle first.
I have not because I'm very staunch in my stance that I don't like mobile games.
Yeah.
It's so hard for me to turn my brain on to try to play a mobile game. It's just something about it. I don't know what it is. Like I already spent so much time out of the day looking at my phone, which is disgusting. It's just one of those things where like I haven't outside of like, an early like stint with Angry Birds in like the, early like turn of the 2010s or whatever when I got my first smartphone is like I can't really get into it. I can't really explain why. But that also being said, I'm like I said, I'm a fringe Zelda fan, much more of a fringe Pikmin fan. I've only played like one. I've played bits and pieces of every Pikmin game, but I've never beat them before. So Pikmin's not necessarily my target audience.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen of the game online, it's fun. I think this is definitely I guess maybe the casual Pikmin fan doesn't cross over with the casual Pokemon fan very often, but I think that this game in combination of Pokemon Go and Nintendo in general has really like found a way to really hook in the mobile phone market. And I think that from what I've seen, this game's a lot of fun. And you're not the only person I've seen posting screenshots of this game, Glenn. There's a lot of people that I follow on Twitter that are really into this game, so I can see why it's done so well.
Yeah. AJ, have you have any interest in this game at all?
I do. I actually do want to try it out,
Yeah.
especially because I just moved, so it might be nice to have an excuse to walk around
Yeah.
and see what the neighborhood's about. But I just haven't had the time to 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 download it and like go for a walk somewhere. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess I have had to go places, and I probably could have downloaded it, but I just keep forgetting.
I think it's also cool just because, like, to Kyle's point, I also hate mobile games, but I kind of like that this game is like, first of all, I love stats. Like, back in the day, I loved having like a pedometer that tracked my stuff. And I'm like, oh, like, this is something I don't have to pay attention to. It's not like you have to look at your phone much. It's like it tracks what you already were gonna do. So you have it on in the background, and that's the cool part of it, in my opinion. Like if I had to look at my phone while I was walking around all day and it was like an active engagement thing, I actually think I wouldn't like it as much, which is probably why I don't like Mario Run or like all the other mobile games that they've made. Like the Mario Kart one, man, that one was just tragic for me. Like that's one of the worst things I ever experienced. And obviously I love Mario Kart. But this is cool because it's just like I like when it's like different from a normal game, and it's something that it's like, oh, I was already gonna. I like just seeing how many steps I took, even if I wasn't going for a walk for the game. Like you kind of want to think about it as you don't want to do things for the game. The game is just there when you're doing whatever you were normally gonna do. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because they actually just said that in the first 2 weeks it was downloaded 2 million times, which sounds really good, right? And like I've noticed, like in my area, people are playing this game. Like you could see one of the things that you do is like you can plant flowers as you're walking, so you can see the flowers people planted, and like people will make these big blooming like petals around your town, and you'll see that other people are playing the game. yesterday I was in New York City and I like stopped by this giant park, and it was crazy because it was like, holy crap, I've never seen this many flowers in this area. Like in Jersey, like in New York, it's like people are playing this game a lot. Um, but that being said, I was like, oh, 2 million people downloaded in 2 weeks. That sounds pretty good, right? And then I'm like, I look at the comparison and it's like apparently Pokemon Go had 75 million downloads in its first 2 weeks. And Harry Potter Wizards Unite, which I didn't even know was a game,
Oh,
but
Jesus Christ.
it was basically it's like a Pokemon Go. It's made by Niantic, the same people that made Pikmin and Pokemon Go. But it's like a Harry Potter Pokemon Go. I don't even know how it works. I don't know much about it other than that. Um, even that in its first 2 weeks did 12 million downloads. So Pikmin is like not it. Maybe it's not doing poorly. Maybe their expectations were in this ballpark, but 2 million compared to 12 and compared to 75 from Pokemon Go. Obviously, it's like maybe not as big as I thought. Um, but the funny thing about that is that they actually just closed the Harry Potter game, like, or announced that it's going to be taken down. So I don't know about this Pikmin game. Like, if they took down Harry Potter and it's like 12 million people downloaded it, is it safe to assume that 2 million is a really small number and they're just like, there's no
Right.
point keeping this? So the moral of the story is, Kyle, get on that. Get on that. Metroid, you didn't want to support that, and now you're not supporting Pikmin. You're ruining my life, man.
Listen, man, I'm out here just I'm out here as your foil, Glenn. I am here to truly make you upset because you know the only games that I do play, they have Sonic in it.
Yeah.
How's that for a transition? I still got it, baby. You might not hung out with me for a week, but I've been in the mountain, Glenn's. I've been training while you've been out here.
He's been getting his segues on point.
Yeah, I've been studying the blade, Glenn. I'm out here.
All right. So Pikmin Bloom, that was that. This week, Kyle, he got his wish. There's Sonic is in the air tonight. There's something to talk about with Sonic. My God, man. So it's not even really much. It's just we might be reading into it too much by even talking about it. But somebody found that Sega had trademarked the title of a game. A lot of times they have to trademark like literally the names of games. Like you'll see Nintendo every now and then they'll just renew the trademark on Punch Out, even if they're not making a Punch Out game. But Sega just renewed the trademark on Sonic Frontiers, or not renewed. They issued a trademark for that name. So a lot of people are speculating, oh, this must be the title of that Sonic game they revealed like last year, or it was earlier this year actually, right? It was like
Yes, the trailer that was offensive
yeah.
to trailers.
It was like around E3, right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like it's not even like you said, it's like offensive to even call that a trailer. It was literally like a 5-second teaser of Sonic running in the what looks like a jungle, and that's it. And they didn't tell us what it was called. They're just like, oh, here's one more thing, and they just showed that, and we're like, all right, dude, that was lame
That's
as
like
hell.
the most basic Sonic thing ever. Like, think about it: Sonic running, and then he's against like a green like forest background.
He's gonna
Like
run
that's
in this
literally the
game.
most basic. Yeah, like he's running in a green area. What?
Dude, he's gonna be running in this game though. He's running. Like, all right, man.
In
I
a
get
green
it.
area.
Yeah.
He's never been anywhere green ever.
So the reason why this is interesting is because the title that they trademark is Sonic Frontiers. So a lot of people are saying, they're speculating. First of all, I want to hear what you guys think this is, but a lot of people are speculating that it's an open world Sonic game because that seems to be the thing everyone wants to do now is make everything open world. So I'm going to let AJ go first, and we're going to let Kyle go second because I feel like he has the most thoughts on
You're
this.
screwed either way. AJ's
But-
just as much of a Sonic fan as
bro,
I am. so-
okay, hold on. So while moving,
I wear it more often than he does, but AJ's like he's
Dude, you,
he's
you
like
don't
Sonic just as
understand,
much as I do.
Glenn. While moving, I found when Sonic Colors first came out, if you pre-ordered it through GameStop, you got a Sonic hat. And
Oh, I have
found
that,
my hat while I was moving, and I have it with me. I could put it on right now if I
Oh
wanted
my
to.
God.
I have the same hat. I have the
Dude,
same
yeah,
hat.
you could be surrounded in a call with people wearing Sonic hats, Glenn. There is
So-
really no escape. But anyway,
Oh my God. Yeah, so
I
what
think-
do you think about this?
if you think of like the classic 2D games, like one element they have that didn't depending on which game you play, may not transition really well into 3D, or they haven't, is like the ability to explore levels. Like in 2D Sonic, a lot of the design philosophy is like the top route is like harder to stay on but faster, but the bottom route's like if you fall down it's easier, but but it might be slower or something. And you can also like go in between them. And some of the 3D games like are just kind of like a straight line and really don't deal with that much. But if you do an open world Sonic game, you could definitely try to explore that concept of like exploration more.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
hope they go with that. Also, Sonic and parkour makes sense. So if Sonic's running like around, jumping on a bunch of random like objects, like think of like how climbing is to Breath of the Wild. If Sonic could just like run up walls instead of climb, and you just run up everything. Like if you somehow build up enough momentum and you can go wherever you want, just kind of like with Zelda, like you can climb this mountain if you kind of like go like envision a path where Link can like rest and regain his stamina. Like I think that could be a really good base concept for an open world Sonic game, and I hope they go in that direction.
yeah. I have someone that's. It's funny you mentioned the parkour, as I have some pretty hot takes when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog, and one of mine is that I don't think Sonic the console version of Sonic Lost World was that bad of a game. I actually think that game was pretty fun. The handheld version is an atrocity and a sin amongst sins, but that's for another podcast. But I do like when they try to do things different, when they try to like slow Sonic down a little bit, give like you more of an emphasis on the platforming, because that's at its core what Sonic is. He's a 2.5D platformer, and I if this is the game that was, because I remember around the time the Sonic Symphony stuff was coming out and all the Sonic news was dropping, that there was rumors that a tech demo for the game had been played and people were like less than ideal about it. If they want to go for the route of an open world Sonic game, go for it. It's just one of those things where like I'm anytime I'm like remotely intrigued by a concept that Sonic does, it is just completely ripped out of my heart of how bad the final product is. When they showed that when they showed that first Sonic Boom trailer, I was in on it. I thought that was cool. I was like, okay, everybody's fast, but everybody has powers. Knuckles is burly and strong as he always is. Amy has her hammer. Tails can fly and has like, I don't know, a gun. Question mark.
He just had like a utility belt, like a tool belt.
He was
and goggles or
Batman. Tails
something.
with prep time or Batman with prep time. Who you got?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. One's a scientist. I'm just saying. But the final product of that game, spoiler alert, was trash buckets. So it's one of those things where like Sonic is. I'm always like slightly intrigued, but I'm afraid to fall in love again because as of this past weekend, it's been 10 years since the last good 3D Sonic game.
Yes, I tweeted that. No, okay, no, wait. When they announced, like, when they showed that terrible trailer, I put that tweet to scheduled to be sent out the day Generations came out, and then I just kind of forgot about it, and then I saw it on my feed. I'm like, oh yeah, I did schedule this, and yeah, I am sad that this is a good I'm sure most people would agree with that statement. That Generations was the last good 3D Sonic game.
Yeah, and even then, years. It feels like it's kind of cheating because you're just taking the hits from all the best Sonic games, from all the other Sonic games over the past, like, 10 years at that, or what was that, the 25-year anniversary?
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, so you're just, at that point, I don't know, it felt like it was just cheating at that point. But
even then, you could argue it's more cheating because half of the game is with classic Sonic.
It's true.
So it's 2D.
It's very true. So, as great as that game was, like, it's just so... one of those things where like just when I think that Sega team is kind of getting it together, like because Generations was really good and Sonic, and Sonic Mania was really good. Sonic Forces wasn't even bad. It was just painfully mid. Like it was like super mid, like plain yogurt
no
mid.
Reason to play that game. At least with something like Black Knight or like Secret Rings. Like those are bad games, but I can at least say, all right, they tried something different. There's something unique about it. Forces is just like Generations, but worse.
One of those games is a bad game, but I'm not gonna die. That's another battle for another day. So,
all right, I'll see you later about this.
I think at my core, I really want this game to be good. I don't want Sonic Adventure 3. That's not what I want because it's never gonna happen. And I'm gonna spend the rest of my life waiting for something. I'm gonna spend the rest of my life waiting for me to pick my posters up.
That's
I'm the posters.
I want this to be.
I'm the posters. Sonic Adventure 3 is me trying to pick them up from Glenn's house. It's just never going to happen at that point. So I really want to believe that they're trying to find a formula by like giving the fans what they want, which is like more hub worlds question mark like more exploratory passages, like less focus on boosting in the modern age, because it really has become boost to win, especially with the last like 3 or 4 Sonic games. It's just kind of taking a lot of the fun out of some of the platforming, because like AJ said, like the design philosophy of Sonic has always been, if you stay up top on the top lane, you're going to be able to go the fastest, but it's the hardest to stay on.
Yeah.
And it's like that's even emphasizing like how some of these boost games go, where like it feels so scripted. I want a little bit more like, exploration involved. I want a little bit more of some maybe, I don't want to say slower gameplay for a Sonic game, but just like a little bit more platforming, and bring back the friend system. I like. I've gotten to the point where like I've gone so long without Sonic's buddies that I want to play as Knuckles. I want to play as Tails. I want to, to play as Amy. I want just a little bit of a different spin without sports tape and the Sonic reading a cursed storybook. Like,
Yeah.
I just want a good game that's playable, that does not involve storybooks or, I don't know, Final Fantasy. Like, I just want something good. That's it.
What about, so here's what I'm thinking, and let me know what you guys would think, as since you guys are the two super, Sonic fans. If this is the case, would you be happy with this? So what I think is, when I hear frontiers and people say open world or whatever, I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. But what I think what they would is more realistic for them to do, and what I think is more likely is Sonic has obviously always been trying to, like, they've always borrowed ideas from what Mario does. And like you see that, like, Mario Galaxy came out and then they made like a Sonic Galaxy game. And like there's a bunch of other examples of Sonic aping whatever. Mario did something first and then they tried to do their version of it. So what if it's just Sonic Odyssey, and it's like these bigger environments, and it's just these, like, instead of just getting to the goal, you, like in Odyssey, you're doing a lot of little mini tasks within a one big map. And maybe that's what it's like, oh, this is one frontier, we're not going to call them giant maps, we're going to call them frontiers, and there's this big western frontier and this frontier, whatever. I think there's potential for that to be really cool, obviously, because I really like Mario Odyssey. But if that was the case, would you like that game?
Yeah. Sign me the heck up for that one. Like,
yeah.
like I people, I don't know why people are so like divided on Mario Odyssey, but like that game formula worked. Like, stop trying to make things like that shouldn't be like Breath of the Wild, and make them more like Mario Odyssey. Like, rip off the other most successful game of the last 5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think it's just because the expectations are really high for Mario. So it's like, that game is an amazing game. And if it wasn't a Mario game, right? People would be like, dude, this was the best game I ever played. Like, people gas up games like A Hat in Time, which is a really good game. I'm not making fun of that game, but I'm saying, like, those same people who hate on Mario Odyssey, they gas up Hat in Time, even though Mario Odyssey is obviously way better. It's just because they're just comparing Mario.
Wait a minute.
They're comparing Mario to himself. They're like, well, this Mario game isn't better than 64, therefore it's not that good. It's like, it's still an amazing game.
Well, hold on. All right, hold on. Real quick tangent. My take on A Hat in Time is that it does some things better than Odyssey, but overall, I will agree Odyssey's better. But Hat in Time is still worth your time. It's just unfortunate still a great game. Unfortunate that it just happened to be a hat-based 3D platformer that came out the time that Mario Odyssey decided to do the same, like a very similar, like on paper concept, even though they play like very differently and stuff.
Yeah. But, which, by the way, if you're nostalgic for that N64 era of like 3D platformers, Mario Odyssey is obviously amazing. You should play that. Like, if you grew up on Mario 64 and Sunshine and Banjo-Kazooie, play Mario Odyssey, but also play A Hat in Time, which is also really, really good. And it's like, really feels like one of those GameCube and N64 era 3D platformers. But anyway, AJ, what do you think if Sonic Frontiers is just Sonic Odyssey? Is that something that you as a Sonic fan would be like, oh, that sounds great, I would love that?
No, yeah, that sounds great. Because one of the things, like, we talked about the level design with like Odyssey, but I also, when I think of Odyssey, I think of the movement options.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Like how Mario has this entire kit, like there's an entire menu in the game just telling you, look at all these cool tricks you can do. Now, if Sonic could do something like that, and that makes exploration really fun with him and fast, I think that'd be perfect.
So
like, that could definitely work. I think there's huge potential with that idea.
The only way that this works for me with that is because you can't give Mario like Cappy, you can't give Mario like magic shoes that turn him into something that like he's not. Um, I think
It's a
just
shoe game.
yeah, it's
instead of hats, it's a shoe game. He's just like, yo, give me your shoes. It's like, let me get those Jordans, and then now he can dunk and stuff. Yeah.
Mario, it's running around in like
The New Donk City
bunny slippers. Yeah.
equivalent, he goes to New York and he has to wear Tims. He just gets the Tims from everybody.
I
The
would buy
North
that game.
Face.
I would buy that game. I would pirate that game day one.
Oh boy.
Like I look at it this way, like all that sort of stuff is already like built into Sonic's like repertoire. Like just bring back like the bounce bracelet or like the other like items from like Sonic Adventure where like oh now you can do the lightspeed dash or like now you can bounce up and down and it like changes the terrain. Like just bring back that sort of stuff or bring back or like make the elemental shields like part of the 3D games or something. Like
Yeah.
there's so much good stuff in these games that has just fallen so by the wayside because Sega can't get out of their own way. And I'm begging you. Like my family is dying. Like I need like the aliens aren't talking to us anymore. Like I need a good Sonic game before I turn 30. For Christ's sake, I'm begging.
It just gets harder and harder for Kyle to wear all of his Sonic t-shirts in public. It just gets more embarrassing, and he's just always sweating a little bit more. Like, God, that game was bad, and now I just gotta wear this shirt. Can't throw these shirts away. It's too many shirts.
Dude, Sonic's like that one friend that keeps screwing up and like asks for money. Like, yo, can I have like $5 and they like never pay you back? And you're like,
yeah,
like this is it. Like I'm giving you $5 one last time, and you better pay me back this time.
Dude,
I'm Sonic. I'm broke.
Yeah. The one thing I'll say though, just to end this Sonic conversation, first of all, a Sonic Odyssey sounds amazing. I would play the hell out of that. But what I will say is that there's no way that one of the things that has to make Sonic like fans happy and and the people at Sega are probably like pretty happy about in a very evil way is that no Sonic game has been as bad as Balan Wonderworld, which is Yuji Naka, the creator of Sonic, his most recent game that came out earlier this year. It's one of the worst video games ever made ever. And Sonic has never been that bad. I don't know how Yuji Naka made the first 3 Sonic games at all, because that game is so bad that I'm like, how is this the same guy? It makes no sense, dude.
The story behind that game is sad because Square Enix is like, all right, we'll give you one chance. You better not screw this up, or else you're fired. And he screws it up. It's like, oh no.
This is the worst
I feel bad for the guy.
All I'm saying is, like, this isn't the first time something like this has happened. May I remind you that Keiji Inafune made Mighty Number 9?
Yeah.
So, like,
every time that those like creators go to another company and try to like make a version of what they were famous for, it's never turned out good except for the Castlevania guy and the Bloodstained games. Like apparently those games are really, really good. And he Igarashi, I think his name is, he made all like the great Castlevania games, and then he left Konami and he made these games. I'm still waiting for Kojima to like make a Metal Gear spin-off like outside of Konami. Like because Death Stranding is not a Metal Gear spin-off at all. It's just a whole other thing. But it'd be funny. It's just like Snake, and like you just have a character that looks like Snake but isn't Snake and whatever.
Yeah, I feel like people, I guess it's kind of a tangent, but people put a lot of emphasis on like the director or like lead game designer of a game, like creating the franchise and give them a lot of credit when really it's an entire development team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like even Mario, like obviously Miyamoto, like he's a genius or whatever, but it's like, there's a lot of guys that were there from the beginning that have made great games without Miyamoto at all. Like Tezuka-san and like a bunch of other people, and like Aonuma with Zelda and Fujibayashi, who directs Zelda now. So you're definitely 100% right. And also like games like Super Metroid had nothing to do with Miyamoto at all. I actually just saw that like the development team for that game, it's like just all this other talent from Nintendo that nobody like knows their names, but like they made a game that's like the best game ever. So yeah, you're 100% right. But yeah, so the final thing we want to talk about this week, which I was surprised that AJ was burning to talk about this, is that as of today, for the first time ever, the mainline GTA Grand Theft Auto games are on a Nintendo platform. The GTA Trilogy, just came out on every platform, including the Switch. The only time Grand Theft Auto has been on a Nintendo platform before this is on the DS. They had a game called Chinatown Wars, and it was like a spin-off game, but it was like more kind of like the original GTA games that were top down. It was
Oh, I
supposed to be
forgot about that game.
yeah, it's supposed to be a great game, but like no one played it. It didn't sell that well, and for GTA to not sell well is like really weird. Like it obviously the DS is not the right audience for it, so it didn't do well. And then we never got a GTA game again until now. And so they took GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and GTA San Andreas, which are all PS2 games from the early 2000s, mashed them into one package and put it out on the Switch and on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Steam, everything. So it's finally here. It was a kind of like a last minute announcement. They kind of like announced it last month, even though it had gotten leaked or whatever. And these are games that people really wanted to play. Like some people grew up on these games. GTA 3 specifically is like one of the most important games of all time. And the launch is really disappointing, dude. Like everyone is saying that these games are crashing on all platforms, not just on the Switch. Like I thought it was like the Switch version sucks because like we're so used to hearing that about third party games. But apparently like the PC version, every version of
Yeah,
this collection, like it just I saw guys tweeting about how like their game doesn't even start. Like they try to play GTA 3 and it crashes every time. And like there are memes going around of like how some of the character models look really bad. Like some characters they show you like what they looked like on the PS2 and then they show you what they look like in this new collection and it's just like how is that the same character? It's like really weird. So yeah, Kyle, you could start first, like if you have any interest in these GTA games or like how you feel about any of this stuff.
Yeah, first and foremost, I just want to bring out the irony. AJ's like one of the nicest, purest people I've known, and yet he loves Grand Theft Auto. Like it's like something I've like never thought about out loud. I'm just like,
That's actually
oh yeah,
true.
AJ really loves GTA for someone who's like a pretty mellow, who lives a pretty like mellow lifestyle.
Maybe
like,
Dude,
maybe
I
that's
gotta get
why
out somewhere.
maybe that's why like maybe that's
Yeah.
why like I'm so surprised he wanted to talk about it because like in my brain I'm like AJ's the last person I would think would want to play a GTA game.
Yeah, when in reality, like and whenever a top 5 game list comes up, AJ's always putting like GTA 5 and like his like list of like favorite games. I'm just like, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
It's definitely up there. I played a ton of GTA 5
yeah.
in
So
high school with my friends.
yeah, so I have a lot of history with the GTA games growing up. So I have vivid memories of going to my neighbor's house every day during the summers of like the PlayStation 2 era, and like we'd play Vice City and San Andreas till I throw up. I still know the infinite money glitch, by my heart. Like I don't remember most phone numbers, but I remember how to get like infinite health, infinite money, like how to spawn a jetpack. In those games.
Yeah.
And even into my adult life, like I've played all of those games like Saints Row, like all of those like all of those like Rockstar, like sandbox, blow crap up type games. Because again, you got to get it out somehow. And I also didn't have like an Xbox and stuff growing up, so like I had to borrow a lot of like my brother's stuff and like all of that jazz to play these games. It's kind of disappointing that these games aren't running well on the Switch because I don't know if I want to say I'm surprised because from what I've read online, like the Switch is like I don't know what the Switch's processing power is like, but like the fact that these games just like can't, they're PS2 games from like the mid early 2000s, like that kind of sucks. But honestly, it's one of those things where like it feels kind of dirty to play these games on a Switch anyway. Like I feel like I feel like the IRS is gonna like bust through my door and be like, "What are you doing playing these games on the Switch?" So
Just
I think
seeing the icon on your Switch main menu, like sandwiched between like Animal Crossing and like
Kirby.
Mario and Kirby,
Yeah.
and you're just like, yeah, this is the one where you could just beat up a prostitute and there's blood and money and there's whatever. It's like what the hell. But yeah, I mean,
how did we get here?
I'm surprised because like I thought that the glitches and bugs and everything were just the Switch version, but it's not. It's like every version of this is like they're just saying the game in general was rushed out and there's like a million problems with it. It needs to be patched. I'm sure it will be because the problems are like huge apparently. Like I mean, just the fact that some people can't even load the game is like crazy. Like that's like it's not a game breaking glitch. It's like just the whole thing is like completely broken if you can't even play it at all. Um, but yeah, so AJ, how do you feel about this collection?
Yeah, so I was pretty excited for this game. Honestly, I was hoping it would be good. So in high school, we all had the school gave us laptops, for our classes and stuff. But you know, being high school boys, we figured out how to like play games on them. So one of them was probably an illegal version of GTA San Andreas that we just kind of passed around on the flash drive and installed on our laptops. So it was pretty bad because like I don't think the game had like the voice acting in it, so you would just see the text for like the cutscenes. So it was definitely like a pirated copy that somehow
Yeah.
got found its way on a USB flash drive.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was
So
hoping like with this trilogy collection, I'd be actually be able to play like San Andreas and like I guess the other two games on there too, because but I guess I can't.
wait, so
And
you never played the first two? You never played GTA 3 and Vice City?
no, I just played a little bit of San Andreas on my laptop in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
What's funny about that is I saw a YouTube video talking about like the version of San Andreas you could get on like the 360 and PS3, like the download version. It's like apparently that version's also not very good either. There's like a bunch of random stuff that's wrong with it that ranges from like minor graphical bugs to like, yeah, this soft locks your game and you have to like you can't progress past this point in the story mode or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was hoping like, all right, hopefully they learn from their mistakes from that port and they make this good. Like they it's a very solid game. And like graphically the first trailers, it looked some of the scenes look kind of weird, especially with the character models, but I feel like some scenes like when you're driving you see like the rain, like it looked really nice. But that doesn't work. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just not buying this. Like I'm glad I waited and didn't just pre-order it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I was interested in it, but then I realized that those games don't really age that well. And so for me, it's
Yeah.
like I actually grew up on a lot of those. Like the original GTA 3, I remember that game blew my mind the first time I played it because I'm like, wait, I could literally just walk up to this old lady and just punch her in the face. Like
Yeah.
that alone was just like, oh, you could just take a bat and just hit people. And like I remember being addicted to that game the first time I played it. I was at a friend's house. My mom did not allow this game. You already need to know that that was not happening in my
Oh
household.
yeah.
I actually never even owned a PS2 until like years later, like after like the PS3 came out. And so I kept going back to my friend's house to play the game, and we would never progress in the story mode. We literally would just mess around and get 6 stars and put in the cheat codes and like blow stuff up. And then after a while, like there's only so far you could do that and have fun, at least for me personally. So I kind of never, that kind of was like the it for GTA for me. Like I was kind of like, all right, the mainline story I'm not interested in. And that side stuff is fun to an extent, but then you kind of get over it. And so I never really played those games again. I tried to play GTA 4 on the PS3 and I really wasn't into that game. But these are hard to, like, even if this game came out and it wasn't a broken mess, these games are really hard to go back to because they actually show their age like a lot. Like a lot of them didn't. GTA 3 did not age that well. Like the controls and like just like how the game, even how the game looks in like even in a decent setting, like those games are just not. They. I remember like 5 years after they came out, I remember going back to them and being like, I don't think these games play that well. GTA 5 made so many like big advancements on like the controls and just streamlining stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like even if this game came out and it was a perfect package and it wasn't broken, and I personally wouldn't really be into it myself.
I argue the best thing about these games that like has aged well is the soundtracks. The music for these games I always remember being crazy good, and I just have vivid memories of like like the in-game radio station of like pressing issues with, like Maurice Chavez, which is like super like stereotyped like Spanish radio, and like it's the first time I like heard Toto for the first time like playing GTA because there's that one station that
Yeah.
always play like that other Toto song that's not Africa that's really good whose
Yeah.
name escapes me. But like I would say, yeah, like a lot of these games like show their age well, and like but my thing with these sandbox games is that it goes the same song and dance every time. Where like I get to like 60% like story completion, and I just like mess around and start blowing up gas stations for the next like
Yeah.
6 months. So
It's also that's another the music stuff is another problem with this game because they weren't able to license all that same music again. So some of the music is there, but some of it isn't. Like Vice City, it takes place in the 80s, and like that's a lot of people's favorite Grand Theft Auto game because it's like really
it's
nostalgic.
my
Like
favorite. So
yeah, like it's Miami. in the 80s, and like the music is all this awesome nostalgia, like 80s stuff, and the aesthetic and the way people dress, super cool. Like so many cool references to like famous movies and TV shows. And then the soundtrack was awesome. Like it had so many like awesome 80s pop music, and some of it is still there, but a lot of it isn't. Like they couldn't get everything back again. So I don't know. I feel like these games they deserve the praise that they got at the time, but for me personally, like they're not really worth going back to, even if this wasn't a broken mess of a launch. And like it's a $60 game, by the way. This is not a budget thing. Like all three of these games in this package are $60. So I don't know. AJ, do you think you're gonna just cave and like if they patch it, you're gonna go back to it?
Yeah, if I hear they fix a lot of the problems with it, I might pick it up at a maybe not full price, but it depends on how long it takes for them to patch it. Like maybe it'll be a year and the game will be like $40. But
Yeah.
I'll definitely keep my eye out if
Yeah.
they fix it, and if they never fix it, because I like the San Andreas version I mentioned earlier. Like a lot of the bugs and stuff were fixed, but some of them weren't, and it still exists in the game that you could purchase like to modern days. I don't know if they kept it up because I heard they took down like the games individually, and now like when this game came out, so
Yeah,
like
they
they
did.
want, if you want to play San Andreas, they want you to buy like the new version.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully they fix it. I mean, I don't know, man. Like what?
I'll
I
buy it
don't
on
understand
PC.
how these companies like Sega did this a little bit with Sonic Colors. Like how do you make a remake, right? And just not like play test it enough. Like you don't have to rush it. Like the game already exists. Like
Yeah.
if,
It's
if you
like
want a holiday season, or whatever. I don't know.
yeah, they're
I
calling
just
it a
wish they're better at
remaster.
planning these things out.
Yeah, it's like it's a remaster. It's like, oh, here's this old game, but we cleaned up some textures, and it's like, why is it running worse than it did on a
Yeah,
PS2 in
exactly.
2004? You know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense. I didn't even think about that. That's such a good point that you brought up. It's like it's not like you're rushing to put this out. Like, no one's been waiting for this game. You know, it's not like the big new release. It's literally just a re-release of old games. So kind of weird that yeah, I don't understand it, but I think it's this culture of like now it's okay to just patch things and like you put things out that are not really ready, but you just know, oh yeah, we could just fix all that later, and millions of people are going to buy this game or maybe not buy it because of these problems. Like it's this game's going to be huge regardless, so I think they're going to have to patch it soon. Like if it takes them a year, that's going to be really bad, man. And there's that guy
Yeah,
stealing a
I don't
car in
know.
your background right now. that
Yeah,
that dude just stole a car to go
I
to the
will say,
GameStop.
you ever seen those memes of people like walking in real life places like the GTA characters? It's like they makes me laugh every time. Like I see like a TikTok or like someone doing
Yeah.
that. It's so stupid and yet so funny.
Yeah, man. So
I
yeah,
love it here.
that's a GTA trilogy. That's pretty much the all we have to talk about today. What are you guys gonna do with the rest of your night? Kyle, you go first.
I am going to be on my way to go see the latest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, The Eternals.
Oh
I'm doing a
God!
podcast episode on that tomorrow. So
Good
yeah,
luck, my friend.
yeah.
I've heard some interesting things about
Hey,
that.
I've heard it's dense, and yeah. Well, I'll make sure to post my out of the theater reactions and listen to my podcast this weekend. I will be talking about that and all of the cool Marvel / Disney stuff coming out of Disney Plus Day this weekend on the Cooped Up podcast, available where you can get all your podcasts. So
Hype. And AJ, what's the rest of your night looking
that's it.
like?
I'm trying to play some Guilty Gear with some of my friends on my stream at twitch.tv/air_Gordon_. I haven't played the game in
Dude.
forever because I've been busy moving, but now I'm settled in. Hopefully I'll get some good games in. Hopefully I won't get bodied.
Nice.
I'm praying for you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be trying to make some. I'm trying to play Smash tonight, dude. I don't know why. Like I'm actually just trying to get a fest going. So all my friends abandoned me. No one wants to play tonight, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. But yeah, that's the rest of my night. That's the end of the
That's in
show.
the chat.
F's in the chat. Next week, again, next week, next week will be the last episode of this show. I'm planning to do something a little different and maybe special. So keep an ear out for that. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you guys. See you next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. You can follow me on Twitter at Super Glentendo. The Glentendo podcast is a weekly Nintendo / Smash community podcast. Our aim is to have galaxy brain conversations on all things Nintendo. If you like the show, please consider becoming a friendo and supporting on patreon.com/Glentendo. Friendos get early access to the show each Thursday. The show then becomes free to all the following Sunday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts right now and you actually like the show, please give us a good review. It helps boost our visibility so more people can find the show. This show is brought to you by our amazing producers, Naomi Eduardo, In a Yellow Flash, and the legendary Riz.